Former Vice President Joe Biden tonight throwing down the gauntlet as to how he will respond as president against Russia or any other foreign country if they try to interfere with our election, this time like they did in 2016. Now, I think a couple things are interesting here to me. One thing that stands out is the list of examples he gives of the ways that foreign countries might interfere. It's pretty detailed and interesting. Hackers, trolls, money launderers, misinformation to subvert or cast doubt in our elections, hacking voting systems and databases, laundering money into our political system, systematically spreading disinformation, trying to sow doubt about the integrity of our elections. I mean, imagine if we had a whole of government response to try to stop all of that, right? To actually investigate it and punish it when it happened. You know, dream big. Dream of competent, uncompromised governance that stands up for our sovereignty against foreign countries that are trying to eat our democracy. Dream big. I've had a few days off. Temporarily at least, I have lost my cynicism thanks to having a few days off. So at least for me today, it seems possible. Dream about competent, uncompromised governance. The way the Biden campaign has put this out tonight, though, and the clarity of the language, the sort of declarative line in the sand nature of this, does also, I think, lay down a marker for Republicans. No Democrat is going to take issue with anything that Joe Biden said here. But what about Republican candidates, Republican senators, Republican members of the House? Do they agree? I mean, do they think we should try to protect ourselves from this stuff and punish countries that do it to us? It was not long ago at all that basically all mainstream Republicans would have agreed with every single word of this from Biden. But this is kind of a test, right? After this many years of Trump, can Republicans still say so? Can they still say that foreign interference in our election is something that we will not tolerate, we will retaliate against, we will make sure nobody gets away with it? Interesting test for the Republican Party after this much Trump. Also, I should point out that this big brushback from Vice President Biden comes out tonight within hours of this from the top Democrats in the House and Senate and the Democratic leaders of the two intelligence committees. A demand that the FBI conduct defensive counterintelligence briefings for all members of Congress. Quote, "Dear FBI Director Christopher Wray, we write to request that the FBI provide a defensive counterintelligence briefing to all members of the House and the Senate regarding foreign efforts to interfere in the 2020 U.S. presidential election. We are gravely concerned, in particular, that Congress appears to be the target of a concerted foreign interference campaign which seeks to launder and amplify disinformation in order to influence congressional activity, public debate, and the presidential election in November." So this is all four of the Democrats that are in the so-called Gang of Eight, right? The top Democrat in the House, top Democrat in the Senate, and the top Democrat on the intelligence committees in each of those houses of Congress. The Gang of Eight tends to get briefed on the most secret, most compartmentalized intelligence that the intelligence community is required to and must share with Congress. They apparently attached to this letter a classified annex spelling out more of what they meant. But I mean, what they're saying here is bombshell, right? They're saying Congress right now is being targeted by a concerted foreign influence campaign to influence the November presidential election, by influencing congressional activity and public debate, by getting Congress to launder and amplify foreign disinformation that is a foreign government messing with our election. Tell me more. Well, Natasha Bertrand, in her second scoop of the day at Politico.com today, she actually does tell us more. She reports, along with Kyle Cheney and Andrew Desiderio, that apparently what's going on here, according to sources familiar with what prompted this letter to the FBI, apparently what's going on here is that a specific Republican senator, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who the Republican Party, in its infinite wisdom, put in charge of the Homeland Security Committee. This request to the FBI is apparently, at least in part, because Senator Ron Johnson, either inadvertently or on purpose, has apparently been taking disinformation created by a foreign intelligence service in order to mess with our election, and he has been using it in his committee as if it's a real thing. Senator Ron Johnson has recently been threatening subpoenas and planning to use his committee to air what amount to increasingly wild allegations against Joe Biden, timed to coincide, of course, with the November election. The FBI's Foreign Influence Task Force apparently warned Senator Ron Johnson once before about the nature of the Russian intelligence-linked sources that he has been using to build up his evidence for this particular dog and pony show. But now, because Senator Ron Johnson is apparently continuing along the same lines, using the same kind of sources to get this stuff and to try to inject it into the American discussion and the work of the U.S. Congress, now the top Democrats on the intelligence committees and the top Democrat in the Senate and the Speaker of the House have asked the director of the FBI to please brief the entire Senate and the entire House on what exactly Senator Ron Johnson is trafficking in here and how this is the work of a foreign country that means to harm us. And so maybe we shouldn't help them do that. Now, this letter was apparently sent to the FBI last week. They made it public today. Today is also the day by which they wanted a response from the FBI. So far, not a single Republican in either the House or the Senate has said beep about any of this, nor has the FBI given any public-facing response. But it's interesting. What these Democrats are asking for is to brief everybody, Democrats, Republicans, all House, all Senate. Dramatic. We will keep you posted.